Good morning, third grade. Happy Friday. How lucky am I that I'm getting to start and end the week with you on the Read Aloud this week. I just want to say that I hope everybody has been working hard this week on the science and social studies resources. I mentioned on Monday that those came out. So I hope you've been getting a chance to look at those online or in print. If you notice, inside of the packet on the little kind of like table of contents or cover sheet, there are some books that the teachers bookmarked and assigned to you on RAS Kids that you can read that will help you out with some of the science and social studies content that we've already learned or that we didn't get a chance to learn before school closed. So if you get onto RAS Kids, go ahead and look for some of those stories to read. Also, another cool thing to note is that on iExcel, we normally have it for math, but because of the circumstances right now, iExcel has actually given us access for science and social studies right now until June. So you can go on there and work on your math skills, and you can also look at these iExcel topics for science and social studies. So that's pretty cool. I also want to give a couple shout outs for our learners this week in third grade. I checked my activity on the apps for iExcel, RAS Kids, Get Epic, Extra Math, and I noticed that Sammy and Savannah were working really hard on iExcel, and for Get Epic, it was Milo and Ella J, and then a big shout out to Sydney because I noticed that she had already started reading some of those science and social studies books on RAS Kids, so way to go, guys. Please keep that up. I'm so proud of you that you are really working hard and keeping up with your learning at home. Even though we can't be at school. So I'm really proud of you. Next, I want to get to our joke of the day. It's giving me kind of sweet treat or sweet tooth vibes. So I'm going to say two real quick. I'm going to go with our joke of the day that the third grade teachers already picked. And then I'm going to read one that Sammy sent me. So our first one is, what do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. And my second one that Sammy sent me, why did the student eat his homework? Why would he do that? Because the teacher told him it would be a piece of cake. So I hope you like those sweet treat jokes of the day. I'm going to jump in and read the second half of Chapter 6. Yesterday, Miss Jones read the first half, and she had you guys write about a time that you felt homesick, because in that first half, Ralph is really feeling homesick and realizing that the Mountain View Inn and time with his family isn't so bad after all, given his current circumstances in the cage in the craft room. So what I'm going to do is pick up where she left off. I want to thank Scholastic Publishing for giving us special permission to continue reading this to you every day. I'm going to jump in where Miss Jones left off right after the singing part on page 116. Here we go. Before long, Karen returned, her left arm covered with lotion. She came running into the craft shop with two of her friends. "My watch," she cried, sending Ralph scuttling into a corner. "It's gone." "Somebody must have taken it," said one of her friends, an older girl who was wearing polished English riding boots. "I'll bet it was that Garf Jernigan," said the second friend. "I'll bet it was too," said the girl in English riding boots. "I saw him leave the dining hall early." She brushed dust from the toe of her boot. Girls who owned English riding boots were proud of them and shined them often. Karen tried to be fair. "Well, we don't know it was Garf, and we didn't see him come in here." The girls crowded out through the screen door to meet Aunt Jill, who had paused on her way to the shop to talk to someone. Aunt Jill," they cried. "Karen's watch is gone." "Aunt Jill, we have a mystery," cried Lana, who tagged after the older girls in her dirty cowboy boots. She liked the dirt on her boots, which showed that she was not a newcomer to camp. Everyone wanted to hear about this missing watch. Campers crowded around Aunt Jill and the three girls. Through the open window, Ralph could only hear snatches of conversation. "Aunt Jill, I'm sure I left it on the shelf beside the mouse cage. I'm positive. I've looked every place, and I saw Garf, and it was my birthday present, and we've searched the lodges. He sneaks out of the dining hall. He hasn't even been excused from the table. Now, girls," this was Aunt Jill's voice, "well, I don't care. He acts funny." That cat has really fixed things now, thought Ralph, as the campers gathered on the benches and at the old school desks under the walnut trees. One of the counselors led the singing, and then Aunt Jill stepped up on the platform. Ahem, campers, I have some unhappy news today, she began. Karen's watch is missing from the craft shop, where she is sure she laid it on the shelf. It was not an expensive watch, but it was a birthday present to Karen, and she would like very much to have it back. Here Karen nodded her head vigorously, and Aunt Jill went on. We are not going to search the lodges as someone suggested. We are going to let the person who took the watch return it because it's the right thing to do. A lot Catso cares about doing the right thing, thought Ralph. He heard Garf, who was sitting on the last bench, say angrily to the boy in front of him, What are you looking at me for? Aunt Jill continued, No one needs to know who took the watch. It can be returned to the shelf in the craft shop when no one is looking, or to my desk in the office. We are not interested in who took the watch. We just want it returned to Karen because returning it is the right thing to do. After Aunt Jill's speech, the campers began to sing You Are My Sunshine. Garf slipped away from the rest of the campers and, as Aunt Jill had suggested, sat down by himself behind the clump of bamboo. This afternoon was the first time Ralph had seen him sit there. You make me happy, sang the campers. They haven't made Garf happy, thought Ralph, wishing that Garf were sitting on the other side of the bamboo near the craft shop door where he might find that watch by accident. That boy is really in trouble, remarked Chum. Ralph turned in surprise. I thought you were asleep under your cedar shavings, he remarked. Well, that's what I make them think, said Chum. I didn't miss a thing. What's your opinion of the case? Asked Ralph, who knew the right words to use in such a situation like this from watching so many television shows in the lobby of the Mountain View Inn. I think that boy is in a tight spot, said Chum. Everyone knows he used to come into the craft shop when no one was here, and they know he's still the first person to leave the dining hall. So naturally, everyone thinks he took the watch. He obviously can't return the watch because he doesn't know where it is. So, of course, everyone will think that he's still keeping it. That's the way I had it figured, agreed Ralph. And I can tell you one thing, continued Chum. He's not going to come anywhere near the craft shop until that watch is found. What? But what about me? Cried Ralph, in dismay, thinking of the sign above his cage Nobody else feeds me. I'll starve. Well, I'll try to toss you an alfalfa pellet once in a while, said Chum generously. My aim isn't so good, but I should be able to get one into your cage every now and then. Enough to keep you going. Going where? Wondered Ralph. No place. What was to become of him when the summer ended and all the campers went home? Would Garf take him away, or would everyone forget him and leave him to starve? He did not want to spend the rest of his life in a cage, and he certainly did not want to be kept alive on a few cast-off alfalfa pellets, only to starve at the end of summer. There was just one answer. Ralph had to escape. The campers finished a rousing chorus of You Are My Sunshine when Ralph's sharp ears caught a sound that had him on his feet in an instant. Vroom, vroom. It was the sound a boy uses to make a motorcycle go. It was made softly, as if a boy alone in his thoughts. Garf had found Ralph's motorcycle. Hey, squeaked Ralph at the top of his small voice. That's my motorcycle. Garf stopped pushing the motorcycle across the bamboo leaves just long enough to make Ralph think he might have actually heard him. Then, to Ralph's disappointment, he put the motorcycle in the pocket of his jeans and went off towards the lodge for the rest period required of all campers. Ralph was so excited he left the bars of his cage and went for a run on his wheel. Garf spoke his language. He knew how to make the motorcycle go. There was hope after all. All Ralph had to do was explain to Garf. As Ralph thought the matter over, his exercise wheel moved more and more slowly until it came to a stop, and Ralph sat back on his haunches. His plan would not work. Until Garf was cleared of theft of the watch, he was not going to risk coming into the craft shop. Ralph had to agree that Chum was right. And that's where we're going to stop. Our next chapter is called The Escape, so I want you to be brainstorming some predictions about that. So, what do we think about that chapter, the conclusion of that chapter? I think Garf is in a tight spot. I don't know about you, but do you remember that story that we read at the beginning of the school year, The Trial of Cardigan Jones? I feel like Garth has some similarities with Cardigan. They're both in a really hard spot where everyone just assumes and points the finger at them that they're guilty when they don't really know. They just think the evidence looks like it's them, so they are convinced that they're guilty. So that's what that chapter was reminding me about, giving me that connection to that story we had already read at the beginning of the school year. So what I want you to do as your activity today is, since Karen's watch is missing, I want you to go ahead and create a missing poster for the watch, okay? I want you to tell me who it belongs to, where it was last seen, and what we are supposed to do, or what they said to do if it was found. So I want you to go ahead and create that missing poster, okay? And be thinking about your predictions of, if the next chapter is called Escape, is Ralph going to escape? How's he going to do it? How's that going to happen? He's in his cage. If Garth's not coming back, he thinks, how's that going to work? Because the mystery of the watch is, I don't know how we're getting out of that situation. All right. So, guys, thanks for joining me today. I want you to have a great weekend. It's been real nice outside this week, so I want you to keep getting out there and enjoying some outside time, and have a fun weekend with your family. Bye, guys.